Good afternoon, everybody. Today's a special day. Today is my son Jacob's 27th birthday, my oldest, my firstborn. So, quick little story. 20 years ago today, I had an emergency C-section because he was premature. I almost gave birth at 6 months. They stopped my contractions and they stopped me from dilating with steroids. So at 7 months, they couldn't do anything to stop it. So I had to have an emergency C-section. He was born 3 pounds, 7 ounces. And he was 18 inches long. Not only was he premature, but he was also coming out breech. So when I woke up from the C-section, he was in the NICU. Doctor said, he can't go home with you. It's not looking good because his organs are developed, thank goodness for the steroids, but he doesn't have the instincts yet to suck, to either latch on to the breast or to the bottle. So they had to give him a feeding tube. He had 2 blood transfusions, and he was so tiny he fit in his dad's palm. And I was losing my shit. I was 20 years old, and I'm a mom for the first time. And I'm like, I can't lose my baby. This is insane. And that happened just because I didn't have a easy pregnancy. I wasn't eating good and stuff. I was stressed out when I was young. And the doctor told me he's gonna need 2 blood transfusions. And we don't know, it's not looking good. And so I didn't rest. My staples kept opening up. I remember being on the train, going back and forth to North Central. One time, I was sitting in the train and I could feel my staples just opening up. The nurse at the NICU would tell me, "Go home. You gotta rest. You're gonna get sick." And I'm like, "No, I can't leave my son. No, I gotta sit here with him," because I didn't know what was gonna happen. So one day, I asked one of the nurses. I was like, "Do you guys have a chapel here?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I went to the chapel, and I just sat there and I spoke to God. I said, "God, if you please let me keep my little boy, I promise you that I will do the best job, the best to my ability. I'm 20 years old. I will be the best mother that I can possibly be. If you let me keep my son, I will prove to you that I can do this. But please let me keep him." And I kid you not, I got a phone call 4 days later, and I saw North Central Hospital on the caller ID. My heart dropped, because every time they would call me, it was with something that was not good. And it was a doctor, and he said, "Do you have a car seat?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" And he said, "Okay, because we're gonna discharge him in 4 days." And I was so happy, and I cried so much, but I was happy. And I realized then, because I've never was really religious or anything, but I do believe in God, and I believe in faith, and I believe in destiny, and everything happens for a reason and all that. So when I got that phone call, I realized that God heard me, and I made that promise to him that I will be the best mother that I can to my ability at 20 years old. Nobody taught me nothing. I just loved my little boy, and I couldn't even imagine not being able to ever bring him home. And 30 days later, I was able to bring my little boy home. He was so tiny. He fit, like I said, up in his dad's palm. Now, 27, big, brolic, handsome boy. And that was a crazy time. But then I had Christian. Christian was a natural birth, no epidural, no C-section. Only thing was, he wanted to take 19 hours to come out to this world. And he's no different now. He's always late too. He tells you 5 minutes, that means like 25 minutes. But I went all the way full term, natural birth, no epidural, no nothing. And he is also my pride and joy, and I kept my promise to God, and I meant that, and I did it. And I raised my two boys, and they turned out to be two very good young men, well-spoken, polite, well-mannered, handsome, good young men. But it's just a little story so you guys know. A lot of us, don't go to church, and some people, are not really religious, but you don't have to do none of that. All you got to do is just talk to God and just ask him, and just make sure you keep your end of the bargain. And that's what I did. And now both my boys are young men, and like I said, I'm proud to be their mom, because they are very, very well-mannered and polite young men now. And I did that. Me, Dolo. I raised those boys. And I'm proud to say that I'm their mom. So again, happy birthday to Jacob. I love you. I will see you later when I get home. And that's just a little story for you guys. Sometimes you don't have to pull out a Bible. You don't have to go to church. Just talk to him. And keep your end of the bargain, because things will work out. Things will work out. It may be scary at first, and it looks like, shit is not going to turn out good. But I can tell you firsthand that it did. That little prayer that I said in that chapel in North Central Hospital, he heard me. And I kept my end of the bargain. So, just a little lesson for you guys, just a little something. So again, happy birthday to my son Jacob. I love you. And I love you, Christian, too. It's not your birthday, but I have to say I love you too. That's my baby too. So I'll talk to you guys later.